Hey you guys, this is the Couplings Fire Podcast. Here's a couple of things you might need to know, or maybe you just forgot. I'm Taylor, a volunteer firefighter and also a firewife to my favorite firefighter. Join me as I talk anything and everything fire related. I don't claim to be an expert, I just love to talk fire, and I'm not afraid to get into real and deep discussions. Everything I say is my own opinion and does not reflect the opinions of any agency or organization I am associated with. Let's get on with the episode. Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Couplings Fire Podcast. I am your host, Taylor Anderson, and I am happy to have you here. I'm just going to pretty much jump right into the episode today. I really don't have anything up front I kind of need to talk about, and we've done that a few times in the past few weeks of giving you updates, so I'm going to take a break from giving you updates, and I'm just going to get in straight to the episode. So those of you who just want to get straight to it, this one's for you. I am going to stay true to my intro today. I'm going to get into the real and deep discussions because you know what? Apparently I need to talk about this one. It's funny. I have a list of episodes that I kind of like ready to go, right? Like whenever I get the inspiration to do them. And, sometimes I look through which ones I have ready to go and I'll pick one out and I'll do the episode. Awesome. This is not one of those episodes. This is one that came to me 2 days ago. And I had yesterday to think on it and today to record it. And you guys are going to get it coming out to you later this week when you're listening to us. I don't know. Sometimes this happens where a subject just comes up and I just have to talk about it. I just have to get it out. I have to get my opinions out on it. I have such an emotional buildup on it that I know I'm not going to work through those emotions or let them pass until I talk about it. And hello, I'm talking to you guys about it. So let's dig in. What are we talking about today? Well, I don't have a great title for this as I'm recording it, right? I mean, I could just call it Pretender, but I don't want to just call it that. And I want to have it maybe say on the title, I'm a good pretender. But honestly, I mean, yes, I am and I have been, but I don't want to be. And I don't want people to think that I'm promoting that you should be a good pretender. I don't know. We'll see you guys will find out what I called this episode. I have no idea yet. I'm going to let it stew and sink and simmer in there for a bit in my brain to see what I come up with. But what we're talking about today, I was driving home from a photography job a couple days ago, right? It was a very, very long drive, and I like to listen to music and podcasts while I drive. Well, I was kind of done with the podcast I was listening to for the drive, so I decided to put on my Pandora station, and this song came on by AJR, and it's called Pretender. So if you guys haven't heard this song, and it's their acoustic version, I actually haven't heard like the original version, or I just heard it, so I hadn't heard it before I listened to this one. But I fell in love with the song almost immediately. And there's a few songs that I hear and it just stops me in my tracks. They just speak to me in such a way that I'm like, whoa, holy crap. What just happened? Is somebody reading my brain or what? But they instantly take me back to a certain place in time. And they make me think about certain situations immediately. This did that to me. This song stopped me in my tracks while I was driving, and I couldn't think of anything else, and I was immediately taken back to a situation like this. And I started thinking about, it wasn't only one time that I could pin this song to. I could pin it to a lot of times throughout my life. So this song, Pretender by AJR, like I said, the acoustic version, if there is a difference in the lyrics or whatever, this is the version I'm talking about. You guys know me. I've talked about it before, and I like to talk to you about what I've gone through before, what mistakes I've made. Because I know I'm not the only one who's gone through and made these mistakes in my life. And I know I won't be the last one to go through and make these mistakes. And maybe all of you can't relate with this one, but I know there's somebody out there who needs to hear it. Maybe you think you won't relate with this episode at all. And you might be right, or you might actually think about it and you realize you can. But this is definitely one of those things that I have not wanted to admit and to say out loud. It's hard. It's very difficult to talk about. This is not going to be a very upbeat episode. This is going to be, let's dig into it and start getting into hard topics. Because this is something that needs to change. And this is something that's hard to change. So, yes, I've gone through this before. I want to help somebody out with it. So that's why I'm recording this specific episode. So, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard to admit that to you guys. It's hard to tell you, hey, I've been a pretender before. And I'm not bad at it. I'm actually pretty awesome at it. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of that. It has come from a place of what seemed to me as survival in different settings, different sections of my life. And it's something, even before I heard the song, and I'll get into the lyrics so you guys actually know it if you guys haven't heard the song before, but even before the song, I've thought about before changing that. Because I knew I was doing it and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be a pretender. I wanted to be me. Anyways, long story short, something I need to work on, something I have been working on, and something I will continue to work on. Getting away from being a pretender. All right, so let's get into the lyrics so we can actually, so you guys who don't know the song can know where I'm coming from, can understand. And we can start getting into this topic together. So, Pretender, AJR, acoustic version. Also, real quick soundbite here on this. Soundbite? I don't know. The whole thing's a soundbite. Come on, Taylor. Anyways, real quick thing. If you guys have a chance to actually look this up and listen to the song, it, like most music does, it hits you differently when you hear someone singing it because you can hear the emotion in their voices. You can hear just how much they thought about this before they even wrote the song. So if you have a chance, go look up the song to actually listen to it too, because I am not going to do it justice. And I could try to sing it here and maybe it wouldn't be that bad, but I'm just going to speak it, but it's not going to deliver the same impact. So, I'm a good pretender. Won't you come see my show? I've got lots of problems. Well, good thing nobody knows. Oh, I'm insecure. I'm insecure. I think I like what I'm supposed to. I don't even mess with drugs. I do that because you say it's dope too. I'm a good pretender. I'm not really cool. I'm a good pretender because I'm just like you. I do not belong here. You all clearly do. But I'm a good pretender, so I'm just like you. I'm a good pretender, all emotions in sync. Don't you think I'm clever? We laugh at all the same things. Oh, I'm insecure. I'm insecure. I think I like what I'm supposed to. I don't even mess with drugs. I do that because you say it's dope too. I'm a good pretender. I'm not really cool. I'm a good pretender because I'm just like you. I do not belong here. You all clearly do. But I'm a good pretender, so I'm just like you. Now I'm just like you. Do you like me too? So, I hope that wasn't awkward. Kind of sounded like a weird reading to me. there's no good way for me to do it. Listen to the song. Even if you need to take a break here for a second, listen to the song for 3 minutes, come back. I get it. If I could put it in here right now and not get copyright claims, I totally would. But this song just grabbed me because I have felt like this more than once. I have felt like this a lot through my life. And I know I'm not the only one who has ever wanted to fit in. I know I'm not the only one who at different points have thought, oh, what's so bad with being a pretender? You know, it's just white lies here and there. And it's not doing any harm, right? I'm not actually making anybody mad or anything. I'm just getting along, you know? So what's so bad about that? It took me a while to learn this and to realize this. And this song just brought it out. This song just made me stare it straight in the face and finally full-fledged admit it. Admit that I still do this even though I hate doing it, even though I know I shouldn't, even though I am bigger than this. Even though I have gained so much confidence. And I hope you guys have seen my confidence grow in the last few months, in the last year of doing this podcast. I hope it shows. I hope you can be like, oh my goodness, she sounds so different. Oh my goodness, she's getting to the point where, yeah, she still cares what other people think because we're human, but she's standing her own ground for things she believes in. This takes a lot of work, and it's not done overnight. It's not fixed overnight, and it's not fixed even when you realize what's happening. Even when you try to stop it, it still creeps in because it's part of human nature. It's human nature to want to fit in, to be safe, to have people you want to be with and be around and like being around you. You want to have friends. It's normal. It's normal. That doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean we shouldn't try to fix it. It doesn't mean we should keep on going the way it's taking us. If you're good at being a pretender, no one actually knows if you're being real with them or not. And that's not a fun place to be. And people like you less when they don't know what you actually think, when they don't know you. All right, so let's go back in time for all of us. Let's go to a place where probably most of us have felt like we were being a pretender. Or the closest you have ever felt. I don't know, whatever. I don't know your life. I don't know what you've been through. I'm speaking from my experience here. So let's go back. Let's go to when you were a new firefighter. Think about that time for a little bit. Really let that memory seep in. How did you feel? Most places, most fire departments, even volunteer career, a lot of them will have a probationary period nowadays. There's not very many where you can just sign up and start being a full-fledged firefighter, no training, and just going into stuff. That doesn't happen very much anymore for most of the fire service. So let's go back to the probationary period for you guys. You come in to the fire service with absolutely zero knowledge. Zero knowledge. You know nothing about fire behavior. You know nothing about hose lines, nothing about pressure, nothing about anything. Okay? You know nothing. Maybe you have some hand tool experience from working on a farm or working on your own house or whatever it is. Okay, deal. That's it. That's all you got. When you get on the department, when you get on that probationary period, you have to go through all the steps to learn everything. You have to go through your intro, right? So as you're going through this, there are people teaching you there, whether it be just instructors or captains or chiefs or whoever you have available to you. And you rely on them. You have total, complete, 100% faith and trust in these guys and girls to teach you things, to teach you what's right, what's wrong, how to go about things, smart ways to do things, what's going to get you in trouble, what your specific department policies are. You have them to go with. And you trust that they know what they're talking about and that they are doing things for your best interest. And guess what? They are. They are. I have not seen, been to, or heard about very many fire departments out there that are not in it for you, that are trying to set you up badly. Most people, most departments, most places, any organization you're in, they try to do what they believe is best. May not be what you think is best, but it's what they believe is best. You as the rookie firefighter, you don't know any better, so you trust them. They tell you this is how you advance a hose line, that's how you advance a hose line. They tell you this is how you search, that's how you search. They tell you this is the way you do this other tactic. That's what you're supposed to do and why you do it. You have nothing else to go off of. You haven't stepped into the wide world of the fire service yet. You don't know all these other opinions and things out there. All you know is what you have at your disposal right there. And guess what? That's fine. That's fine. You don't know any better, but it's okay for right now. It's a whole crawl, walk, run thing, right? You have to start, babies have to start from crawling, then they get into walking, then they get into running. Same with you, you're a baby. You get into it slowly. So you get into whatever your department has on its own. But when you're there, when you're going through this probationary period, every one of us has done it, you guys. We want to fit in. Of course we want to fit in. This is going to be our second family. You want to fit in. This is going to be something huge in your life. You want to fit in. So you're not going to want to be that awkward person standing in the back or that person who has nothing in common with anybody else. If everybody's standing around in a group, you're going to want to jump in there and laugh too, even if you don't find it funny. You're going to want to try talking differently than you normally do around other friends. You're going to mold yourself to the people you're around because you want them to like you. You don't want a chance to screw up your probationary period. You know, even if the chief says something that you don't think is funny, are you really going to not laugh at that? Of course you're not. You're gonna laugh. Because you want it to go well. Because you want them to like you. You want to fit in. Okay, so let's go on to another little spot to look at this from. What if you're a seasoned firefighter? What happens when you have different opinions than your fire department? Or than other people you're around? What if you have different opinions than the friends you keep in the fire service outside your department? Do you talk about them? When the topics come up, do you hold your ground or do you cave? Do you keep what you think in the background? Do you just laugh and agree with them even if you don't agree? I try not to. I try so hard to not cave and to not feel pressured to keep my opinions silent, even with my friends, even with other home departments, that I've been on. I've tried so hard, but you know what? It still happens. It still happens when everybody else is going on about something and you're the only one who disagrees with it, or you're the only one who has a different opinion on it. It is the worst thing. It is so hard on our souls to come out and say it, because we don't want to be labeled, right? We don't want to be called, I don't know what you'd actually even be called, but you don't want to be different. You don't want a reason for them to hate you or for them to, quote unquote, cut you out, even though they're probably not going to. If they're really your friends, they're going to respect your different opinion. But it still stops us. It still stops us because of the what ifs. And it's so tough if something's happening that you don't agree with or that you want to stop or whatever with other people. You don't want to speak up and say it if you're the only one who thinks that way. Because you don't want to be labeled as a goody two-shoes or as I don't know. That's the first one that comes to my brain. But you don't want to be labeled as anything. You don't want to stick out. You don't want a reason for you to have a target on your back. It's tough. And overall, we want to fit in. What happens if you accidentally create a situation where you don't fit in anymore? Right? What if you're at work on shift and you don't fit in anymore with any of your crew? Life is going to be hard. Work is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. What happens if the really good group of friends you had turns out not to like you anymore? Who do you have then? Where do you have to go to? You'd never quite feel yourself again after that. Let's say you have an opinion on a different tactic or whatever when it comes to like at your home station or something like that. How many of us have kept quiet about our opinions on something, either for or against a tactic or on how something's being done or whatever. You pick your poison there. But how many of us have stayed quiet or laughed and joked along with something someone said, or did our best just to overall fit in, so that way we wouldn't be passed up for a promotion or a position that was coming open? So we didn't make waves in the department and live with whatever consequences may come. For one reason or another, so that you wouldn't lose the biggest thing in your life, or what seems to be the biggest thing in your life. I know I have. More than once. I am not proud of it. And admitting this to you guys right now is very hard. Because I'm worried that I'm going to be judged. I am worried I'm going to be called spineless. Or that I am a people pleaser. Or I'm a pretender. And I'm going to argue the fact that I'm actually openly talking about this because I'm growing out of that. Because I'm trying to put in the work to be better. Understanding that consequences may come. They may be small, they may be big, they may be only short time sensitive, or they may be the rest of my career. I don't know. And if you still don't think if you still don't think you've done this before, if you still don't think you've been a pretender, I got one more for you. Let's look into, say you go to a conference or a training. I mean, FDIC is happening this week. Everyone's there. I'm getting a little bit of FOMO here because big group of friends are out there having a blast right now together, and I'll meet them all eventually. It's just one of those like, oh dang, I want to be there so bad right now, right? Big conference happening. There's a lot of people there, a lot of instructors there, a lot of people everybody in the fire service looks up to. Let's say you go to a conference and you finally get the chance to talk to somebody you look up to. Somebody you hold in high regard, whether that be another friend, whether that be one of the instructors there, or whoever it may be. You can't tell me, maybe you can, maybe I shouldn't, you know what, I shouldn't put it in definitives like that, because I don't know. Okay, let's word this a different way. I bet I'm not the only one who might, think in their brain the best route to go with it would be to be careful and make a good impression. To be, if they laugh about something, if you don't think it's funny, to laugh too. Maybe you get to sit down with them for a meal or for a drink or two and have this awesome conversation. But they start talking about something you don't agree with. But you don't know how to talk to that person about it. You looked up to them for so long, and they are such a big name in the fire service that you don't feel the right to tell them that you disagree, that you don't feel comfortable telling them you disagree. And maybe you're worried they're not going to take it in a respectful way, that you still love them, that you still enjoy what they teach, but you don't agree with them on that topic. Your brain is going to go into the pretender mode. It's going to want to go there. It's going to want to just laugh along and fake agree to it while you're in the room with them, while you're having that conversation. I know, because I've been there. I've been there with my friends. I've been there with some mentors. I've been there with people I look up to in the fire service. And I always get back from those interactions, and I hate myself for it. I hate the fact that I wasn't true to what I thought in those moments. It hasn't happened every time. It hasn't even happened half the time, but it's happened enough that I'm not happy with myself for it. Because I feel like I sacrificed part of me to be able to have that interaction with them. And we should not do that to ourselves. You should not have to do that to ourselves. You have one life. Why go through the state of pretending, of trying to fit in? I know it's hard. I know it's hard trying to find a place that you truly feel like you fit in. I know you feel like you have to mold yourself there, but you don't. You're either going to fit in well the way you are, or that group's not the right one for you. And it's hard because you're going to have to remind yourself of that every single day. At every single time you go step into the station, anytime you talk with your friends, anytime you go to conferences, anytime in your normal life. You're going to have to remind yourself that it's okay to stick out. It's okay to disagree with people. Don't do it in a disrespectful way. Of course not. Of course not. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that by now. I feel like if you guys have heard me before, and if you haven't, go back and listen to some episodes. But don't do things disrespectfully. Be honest. If they're a big person, if they're mature, which a lot of people are, a lot of people aren't, but a lot of people are, they're going to understand that. And they're going to be okay with the fact that you think differently than them. And they're going to respect you more for it. Don't just blindly follow what somebody else is doing. Don't just go to a training and because they taught you this one way to do it, make you think that that's the best and the only way to do something. That's not the right way to go to a training or a conference. I've been in that trap before. It's not fun. It does not make you feel any better. Go to a training, learn what they're teaching you. Of course. If your instructor has done the work and done their research, know that they did that. Know that he put that into that and take that into account, of course. But always be your own judge on things. Always do your own work, your own research on it. And just because they do something that works for their department somewhere else or whatever, doesn't mean it's the right thing to bring back to your department. Sometimes it is. You have to weigh that. But don't go and get things blindly just so that you can fit in and impress them or whatever it is, or fit into the wide world of the fire service. Don't get sucked up with the newest, biggest argument in the fire service. And go with what everyone's saying just because they're saying it. If you don't know anything about smooth bores, don't just be for smooth bores and not for combination nozzles just because you heard all these people talking about it. Take their research into account. Take their opinions into account and do your own work on it. And then think, is it going to make a difference for your department or not? Or what's the reasonings behind this or different things to it? Do your own stuff. Don't get sucked into what everybody else is saying. You know, if this is going to be actually a this is going to be a touchy one that I'm probably going to get people not so happy with me about. I don't mind transitional attacks. That's going to put a target on my back already. Just from saying those words, there is a target on my back right now. Because I think transitional attacks have a place. Now, it might be from, the way I think of a transitional attack, what I believe a traditional, I can't even say it right, transitional, it's tough to say that word today, transitional attack should be. Maybe it's different than what other people are thinking. I don't know. But I think there is a place for it. Not all the time, no. But there's a place for it. But there are people out there where I won't fit in now. Where I am the worst firefighter in the world because I think that. What? And it's from actually saying those words out loud right now to you guys. And this is going out to the world. I don't know who's listening to this. And that's how I know I'm making a step from being a pretender. Because I'm saying things like that and I am accepting the consequences however they come. I hope they don't come, but it's life. Consequences happen. Point is, go out there, do your own research, take classes, get all the knowledge you can. But make your own opinions. And don't let anybody make you feel inferior because you think differently than them. It's hard. It is very hard. I've been there. I'm still there for some things. Okay, so. Wow, I don't know how to go on. So it's really funny. I've actually tried recording this episode a couple times. And it never quite ended up the way I wanted it. And I hope I got it this time. I hope it was where I want it to be. It's a tough subject to talk about. Just because it's so personal to each and every one of us. And it is pointing out a black spot on us. That we will do everything in our power to pretend it's not there. And at some point in your life, whether it be one of the instances I mentioned or something else, you've probably felt that way. You've probably been a pretender. You've probably gone out of your way and tried very, very hard to fit in and fit the mold and laugh at what other people are laughing about and making sure all your emotions fit with what you're supposed to be feeling and listening blindly to what someone tells you to do because they said it. Not really feeling like you fit in, but trying your hardest too because you want to be there and changing yourself for that. Point of this entire episode, the point I was trying to make, why I took the time to actually record it, and maybe it's a lot of jumbled up, confusing mess of thoughts. I don't know how it actually came out. I hope it wasn't, but it could have been. But overall, I'm trying to encourage you guys to stop. Take a good, hard look at yourself and be honest. Be honest with yourself. Have you done this before? Even if it was just once. Why did you do it? What can you do to not do it again in the future? How will you feel if you get into that situation and you don't be the pretender? Will you feel better? Play through that in your mind. Practice it if you have to. I don't care what you do. Do what you need to do to get through it. How are you going to start incorporating your true self and your opinions into situations, even when you want to fit in? And overall, with all of this, be prepared for the consequences. Because there will be some. It will happen. It's inevitable. When you speak your mind, there will be consequences. I don't know, hopefully thinking through that, and if you guys can take a few minutes and just think through it, we could hopefully get to a place where none of us feel offended by people saying their opinions. None of us feel left out, and not being afraid to say our opinions, right? I have big hopes and dreams for the future of man, honestly, when it comes to this stuff. And I think we can get there. It's just going to take a bit of work. So anyways, those are things that I've been dealing with and I need to work through, and I have been trying to work through, and hopefully some of you can relate with it. So that is all I have today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got something from it. A lot of my episodes are there to make you think. If I'm making you think, even if you don't agree with me, I've done my job. I've done what I set out to do. I've got you thinking about the big, deep, hard conversations, thoughts, topics that we are really afraid to touch on. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a good night, day, whatever time you're listening to this, and I will catch you on the next episode. See ya. Thanks for coming by and listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Couplingsfirepodcast. See you next time, everybody.